There is a danger of an all-out war. There is a danger of miscalculation. That makes this a very dangerous moment. But let me just recap where we are. April the 1st, that attack on the Iranian consulate in Damascus. Iran says that that attack was an attack on its soil. It quotes the Vienna Convention from 1961, which says that you shouldn't attack any diplomatic premises or embassies or consulates. Israel says that that was a legitimate attack. They point to the people they killed, which were top Iranian military officials, including 3 top generals, 7 killed in that attack. It took, and I think this is interesting, it took Iran 13 days before it responded. Iran responded. It says that that's totally legitimate under the UN Charter. Article 51 of the UN Charter says nothing in the present Charter shall impair the inherent right of individual or collective self-defense if an armed attack occurs against a member state of the United Nations. So we've had one complete cycle of this. We've had an attack and we've had a counterattack. I think the danger now is if it goes beyond this cycle, if Israel responds again. And I think you're hearing that Iran has drawn a line under this for now. The US seems to have had some contact with Iran before this took place. Some of this may well have been choreographed to a degree. The question now, I think, is what the Israelis do. And remember that Prime Minister Netanyahu's whole career, his primary enemy has been Iran. So this is a very big test for him. Can the Biden administration restrain Israel? If Israel decides to respond, can they make sure it's just a response for show rather than something that causes more deaths? Because Absolutely. It is worth noting there were no people killed in this latest attack.
Unlike the Israeli attack on the Iranian embassy, a number of people killed, including diplomatic staff. As you said, Iran took 13 days to calibrate, to decide on how to respond. What does that tell us about how measured or how calibrated Iran was? And also, when you talk about how Israel's going to respond and how much of it comes down to the pressure that the Biden administration can put on Israel, well, they haven't been able to get Israel to do what they say they want Israel to do for 6 months now.
The fact it took 13 days, I think, shows the dilemma that was facing the Islamic Republic and what to do that wouldn't lead to an all-out war, but would show for domestic consumption and show the region that they're strong and they are not going to take attacks on what they say is their soil, and they believe that consulate is their soil. It's worth adding in here, though. Remember April the 1st, when this took place, it was the same day as that World Central Kitchen attack. Those aid workers were killed in Gaza. I think the Iranians also saw the condemnation of Israel there and probably didn't want to get in the way of that, which played in favour of their narrative. And also, I think the Iranians would have been aware of the ongoing talks about a ceasefire and possible release of prisoners and captives. So that may have played into the delay. With regard to the Biden administration, ultimately, they have lots of tools because they are the supplier of funds and weapons to Israel. Biden hasn't acted till now, or in a strong way. But remember what's at stake here, because if we do have an all-out war between Iran and Israel, that will cause chaos in this region, and it will cause chaos beyond this region. The economic repercussions of a war involving this region and all the oil and the oil price, that potentially means Joe Biden won't be re-elected in November. So he's going to put a lot of pressure on.